Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
thy kingdom come,
Thy will be done in earth
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread,
And forgive us our debts.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
But deliver us from evil.
for thine is the kingdom, and the power,
And the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
If you've been extraordinarily blessed in life, you've crossed paths with a transcendent messenger who deposited a transcendent message in your life. That message is about the truth. It's about living your life with values that bring out the best version of you, and as well, it impacts all of the people in your life, leaving them better. It may have been a teacher or coach, maybe a pastor, a leader in business, or in my case, my father. Today, I'm honored to share with all of you the source, the transcendent messenger who deposited a transcendent message in my life. Pops, welcome to Personal and Professional Best.
Thank you, Patrick. It's really an honor for me to be here.
Well, I feel the same way to have you
for
here.
for me to be interviewed by my son, and after such an eloquent introduction, I'm very blessed in my time.
Well, you've earned it. The deposit that you made in my life and really in my two brothers' lives and my two sisters' lives, and then really on an extended basis with everyone else, just witnessing you not only say, but more importantly do. And the three things, those three deposits that have forever changed me, and therefore have impacted all the people that I'm with every single day here, whether it's at home or in the workplace. One, the greatest relationship lesson in history, which is forgiveness. You told us to do it with our experience. I'll let you tell about that a little bit later. And then you did it in terms of your actions. It's the greatest relationship lesson ever taught. Second, you taught us to serve. And you did it as our dad at a time in life, but you continue to do it today with people in the community that you serve every day. And that is what God called us all to do, to put others in front of ourselves. But I watched you do it, and I took that lesson with me in life as I did forgiveness. And finally, you told us that if our name was on it, we should own up to it and do our very best, no matter what it was, taking out the garbage or playing ball and dressing to go play ball. So I just want to thank you for being a transcendent messenger and depositing those messages in my life. And if everyone else that's in my life that has benefited could tell you, and maybe they will, thank you as well. So it's a pleasure having you here. I've got some questions for you.
You imagine that.
Yeah, I've got some questions. So the fact that you have done what you've done in my life and in those that I've already described's lives, who was the person in your life or the people in your life that deposited in you and made you who you are?
Well, uniquely, I saw this version of you being interviewed on that very same question not too long ago, I guess, a couple months ago. And I saw where I was proud. I was really proud that I was the person that was uniquely the one most influential in your life, together with baby girl, with your wife, and it was very wonderful to hear that at this stage of your life you put me in the same kind of category as your wife as an influencer. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of what you've done with your life that you would consider that I was the guy, the influence. Unlike you, however, I cannot point to my dad as being the biggest influence in my life because I lost my dad at age 9. And I didn't have him, I just didn't have him to look up to. And it was a matter of replacing him. I had a tremendous mother, Absolutely wonderful mom. But my dad died early in life, and I lost that influence in my life.
Did losing your dad, when you became a dad, did that encourage you to kind of even do it better?
It encouraged me to accelerate it. I married early, I did. But I wanted to be a very good dad. And the one thing that I wanted, because I didn't have family, so I wanted to be the very best dad that I could be. But, I didn't have that. And having an opportunity with my sons was really a terrific original.
We got this started, and I introduced you as a source, and because the folks that are going to be watching this, they may not understand that. So the deal is this, is that there's generally somebody that's responsible for a family. They may not get voted that way, but it just becomes that. And you have been that party responsible for our family. I don't know if it was 10 years ago. At the time, you were called kind of grandpops or pops or poppy or a number of other things by the entire family. But I remember going downstairs one night, my two boys, TJ and Kenzie, were downstairs, and they were, I think, having a cocktail. They were doing something. Anyway, they said, hey, we've got a new name for grandpops. And I said, what's that? And they said, the source. And I didn't have to ask why. The point was that our whole family has been affected, and in fact is still governed by the lessons that you've taught all of us.
Thank you.
And that is why the source fits so well, because you are.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's the compliment that most parents, most dads would look for.
Well, I'll do everything I possibly can to honor
Well,
you by living up to it, buddy.
Yeah.
So I've got to ask you now, because you are, you've had a great life. You still continue to be the patriarch and the source of our family. Very successful family, very successful career. Certainly the people that are in your family love and honor you every single day. But it hasn't always been a smooth road. And I think one of the things we try to teach folks in our program is that if adversity is a part of life, and it is, it's what we do with that adversity, how we respond to the adversity, that it really dictates outcomes. So
Right.
Tell us a story about adversity that took place or has taken place in your life, and how you responded to it.
Okay. Whenever I think of adversity in my life, it comes down to one basic thing, and then it spirals into others. I married your mother I was only 20 years old, and I was searching for a family because that's what I didn't have. So it became obvious that if I wanted to fill in my role and my particular goal, I was going to be a pops. And I had 4 sons, right? And the 4 sons were actually within 6 years, so maybe a little bit longer than that, but not much longer, 6 years. And here we have 4 little guys. The oldest finally goes to school, and he returns with chicken pox. And the chicken pox, obviously, then the other 3 got it. And the 3 oldest boys, you being one of them, they got over the chicken pox in the ordinary period of time, but the youngest one didn't. And we took him to a pediatrician who was absolutely concerned immediately, and we had to take him directly to the hospital. And we took him to the hospital, and eventually he was diagnosed as having what was a fatal congenital kidney disorder known as nephrosis. He was cared for, and then he was sent home, and your mother had to look after him every day, especially, and she did. She did very well at that. But toward the end of July of that year, he developed a cold or whatever, and he ended up back in the hospital. And he was in the hospital only about a week or so, and I was with him one night, and I stayed overnight at the hospital, and he died. He died in my arms, and to this day, he is the only one that I have ever been with at the time of death.
82 years.
82 years old.
And the only time that happened.
Yeah, so I'm 82 now, and in my entire life I've been with one person who died, and it was my son, Larry.
Wow.
So here I am with this situation at 3 in the morning. Who did I call? I called my brother. My brother was a priest at that time, and he drove to the hospital because your mother wanted me to call her immediately if something turned wrong, but it happened so quickly, and the doctor said, just put your arms around him and hold him, and I did. So my brother came, and we drove home, and woke your mom and you kids, and brought her back to the hospital, and from there on,
we got a broken.
We
got a broken family.
The family finally broke because we had opportunities, and I went one way, and your mom went the other, and that was most unfortunate. And it ended up in breaking the family totally, and it was just really difficult for us. But interesting, as you are older and you look back, you find out that the hand of the Lord was in even your darkest day. That was the saddest day of my life, the day he died, and it still is. But the hand of the Lord was with me at that time because he clearly had me go into another direction.
So we lose our little brother, Lawrence. The family breaks apart. Because I remember you pulling up to pick us up on the weekends. And I remember thinking, me and my 2 older brothers, Tom and Jim, we would wait for your car to come around the corner. And and seeing the car was like a big deal. The importance of a dad and a family. And then when you would drop us off on the weekends, I don't know what you were doing driving away, but I know what we were doing, which is wishing it would somehow or another change.
I can remember
here we go
driving down I-95 in Philadelphia.
Pick us up. Well, we were walking back in the house. We couldn't drive at that time because I was only like 5 years old.
No, but the tears were coming down my face while I was driving down. And there was nothing I could do about it.
So here we are as a family, completely broken because you get separated up in New Jersey, you relocate us to Miami, and then Mom decides she needs to leave at that point. Mm-hmm. And so it's just us. So we're in a state of brokenness. I've always thought that, God, your faith at that point, those people who deposited into your life, your faith, Father Jim, your brother.
Those are the kind of things that gave me direction and made me somewhat strong.
Sure.
Because, I mean, I was ill-prepared to be a single father of 3 sons.
So here's the transcendent message, or the source, and the transcendent message, the first one, because when Mom left, I remember like it was yesterday, Tom reading the note. We had come home from school, and Tom announces to me and Jim, Mom's gone, and don't worry, everything's going to be okay. And I guess that's when I took over as the CEO of the Flood Brothers, because I said, how do you know it's going to be okay? This is not good, okay? Get that on the phone. Yeah. So that night, what I remember is Jackie Gleason's restaurant.
Yeah, we went out for dinner that night.
I remember cheeseburgers with blue cheese, which I always tell people now, when you're 7 years old, you shouldn't try blue cheese for the first time. It ruined the cheeseburger that night, but that wasn't the event. The event was really you doing 2 things, because these are those transcendent messages that have marked my life. First was, you said you need to forgive your mom.
You need to forgive your mom. I read the letter too once I got home, and I could hardly believe that happened. It took me by surprise. But the kindest thing your mom wrote in that note that made sense to me was the fact that she was leaving the boys because she knew the boys would be better with me.
Yeah.
And that was an unselfish act on her part.
Because she was losing part of herself as well.
So my comment to you guys was, I didn't know where we were going to go because I was ill prepared to be a single dad for 3 sons. I just was not.
I can concur on that. You did a great job making every attempt to kind of fill the void, like doing the cooking and the cleaning and everything else.
But I was not prepared to do that. I had no experience at doing that, and I was not prepared to do that. But the truth of the matter is, I asked you to forgive your mom because in my heart, I could forgive her for doing that since she fortunately left my sons with me. And we're just going to have to work out a different plan. So we did. And the plan as it works out was God's plan all along.
What's really cool too is you move to Miami, you take a job, you don't know it, but you move into a neighborhood close to where your job is, and the local Catholic parish is none other than
St. Lawrence.
St. Lawrence. My younger brother's name, Lawrence, and you wind up getting married to Mama Flood in St. Lawrence.
St. Lawrence.
And
my brother doing the
wedding,
doing the ceremony with our entire family.
Yeah.
As members of the bridal party, the girls and the guys were all the attendants.
And then all 3 of your sons wound up getting married at St. Lawrence. So Lawrence may physically have gone away, but he was involved with an awful lot of those events taking place there. Yeah, so we go from brokenness.
That's God's plan.
Yeah, we go from brokenness to forgiveness, which is faithfulness, and you then had to take on all of these other responsibilities. As I tell people now, serving others before self, our mission as an organization, it was born then because I watched you get up early and cook for us and make us our lunch, and then we went to school, played ball after school, and I went to the laundromat with you at night, and you did the laundry, and you wound up doing everything you had to do, not only to build a great career, but to not abandon your responsibilities to do both. At the time, mom and dad. And as I joke to people, your cooking and cleaning were a little bit suspect. But what I learned, I learned forgiveness, and then I learned the idea of losing yourself to serve other people, and the benefit that creates not only for the other people, but for the person, because you don't get to be named the source unless you're that guy.
But the other trait that's stuck in there somehow is also the fact that you manage to know that you're going to be able to do this, even though you have no experience at doing it. But I knew in my heart, I knew I was going to be successful at it. I just knew. I mean, it was all completely different and new, but I had that concept that I could do it, and we ended up doing that. And fortunately, when Mama Sarah came along, things just gelled, and we had a blended family, a blended family of 5 teenagers, 13 to 19. We have that family, and today we lost one to cancer at age 52, Melody. But we have are wonderful adults as our children, and these are individuals that we're very, very proud of for what they've done.
A beautiful part of the story is, and for those that are watching today, that the faithfulness when adversity took place, instead of rejecting it and being bitter,
Right.
you accepted it. Not that it didn't hurt.
No,
that
it hurt
did.
like crazy.
But then you somehow or another, and I believe it's because of the people that had poured into your life, your faith became your kind of your energy at that point, and you just did what you had to do. And,
no
then God winds up blessing those lives. So Mama Flood shows up. I get 2 sisters. It's a bit chaotic because we're trying to marry in a family, but in the long run, then it becomes this beautiful and awesome story. The last lesson I really learned as a kid from you that continues with us today is, you know, we played ball, obviously, and you coached us. And, you know, I remember playing on a championship team, a basketball team with my older brother, Jim, and you were a big advocate of Jim taking the ball,
drive the lane,
go get a layup, right? And Jim liked to shoot. He had long hair at the time. He liked to shoot from a long distance, and no matter how good he was, you'd take him out of the game right away, put him on the bench as one of the better players on the team, right?
Right.
But what's beautiful for me is thinking back now about the way I operate and what drives me every day is you never ever let any of us. You always affirmed us when we did well, but right after the affirmation, there was, you know, what else you could do to be better at it. And I remember as an athlete, you telling me, if you're going to be an athlete, look like an athlete, dress the part, look the best.
Yep.
And it's funny because in business, people have always said, God, you dress so well. And I'm like, that's because my dad told me to, okay? Not really in business, but you told me when I was a very young man. So there's 3, like, what I would call transcendent messages that I take from you. Forgiveness. And I should tell the folks that are watching and our family that Mom was fully restored because you deposited that in us. When we became young adults and professionals, we never didn't honor Mom. We always honored Mom. And then when we got to have jobs and everything, we honored her again and again
Right.
and again. And the last 7 years of her life, she stopped drinking. She became the best version of her ever. And it was a beautiful thing because Mom even connected with Mama Flood's, my sister, Mel, when she was sick. And,
Right.
and our whole family kind of reconnected. And I see the thread was always the night at Jackie Gleason's when you said, forgive your mom. Because had we not done that,
Yeah.
had we gone another road, which unfortunately a lot of people travel, this whole thing is different for all of us.
I remember, of course I forgave your mom, but I can remember first hearing that you guys were going to purchase a home for your mother and her husband in Florida, and then you decided to do it in Broward County where I
you
lived,
lived.
right? And I remember my
You were thinking
comment.
there's a lot of other counties in the world. Can't we
There's
just...
3,425 counties in the United States, and you choose to bring her into the same county where I'm living.
I didn't.
What
It was
were you
God's
think-
plan.
Yeah.
I just
What
wanted
were
to
you
follow
thinking,
the plan.
right? You know? So we joked about that, but ironically, it puts the absolute best kiss on the story. The best kiss on the story is that you're right. Our daughter Melody was struggling with cancer. And in her struggle with cancer, your mother, who restored herself to life, and life with the church and under God, sent Sarah a note indicating that she was saying a rosary for her every day.
Beautiful thing, right?
That is an absolute marvelous story of,
Sure.
of the benefits of forgiveness and the benefits of
And if you're going to be in relationship in life, as we both know, with
Yeah.
anyone, I don't care if it's at home or with family or in the workplace, really anywhere, the foundation of a meaningful relationship that will
There's no
last
doubt.
over time is forgiveness, right?
Yeah, there's
So
no-
it
there's
gets
no
us through everything because we'll need it at some point during
Yeah.
the course of a relationship.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt, and there's no doubt of the gratefulness that I, as a pops, have as a result of you guys doing what you do.
You know, and Helene Bernadette Diamond, my mama, her last ever life, I had told her, encouraged her when she lived in your county to write a note to her siblings that were still alive because they had some estrangement in the family, lack of forgiveness maybe. And I told her, write a note and tell them that you're sorry for anything you ever did to cause any pain in anyone in their lives, and don't tell them why you did it, just do it. And then tell them that you want to reconcile and that you're going to come up there and pick out the very best restaurant, and I'm going to fund it all, and I'm going to send my brother Tom, who lives in that same county. He's going to be your chaperone. So she did that. She sent a letter. They made the arrangements, and Mom flew up there the day after my birthday. In 2006, and I knew she was going, and I knew this big celebration was going to take place, and it happened. And then that night, just after midnight, I got a phone call from my brother Jim, and Jim told me Mom passed away tonight. And I remember thinking, yeah, it was good stuff, that had you not, the story ends totally different. Had we not at Jackie Gleason's that night, had it decided, so if anyone's out there and somebody's caused pain in your life, choices they've made, and let's face it, if you're living and breathing, somebody's done it, you got two choices. The choice is either to accept it and to forgive it, and then move on and allow God to bless your life, or you can go down a different road. And I'm just so grateful, because the reason you're here today, and I invited you, the reason I'm here today and the reason I am the person I am is because you're the transcendent messenger. I thank you for being that. I thank you for the messages that you've deposited, because they've impacted so many people now. It's amazing.
I feel that way.
Well, today has been an amazing blessing to me.
And me.
Yeah.
And to me.
Well, and it will be a blessing to a lot of people that are in our family. But it'll be a blessing to a lot of people who know me and know the family of Supreme, who are searching for answers to how to get their life in the right place. Because there's a lot of people that are, unfortunately, that are still hurt and living from their pain, instead of realizing that they can make a choice starting right now, right today, to forgive whoever and whatever, and then move on, and to trust that God will ultimately bless their lands if they do. Pops, you, the source, are the best.
All right. I love you, man.
You too, man.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing me to share my story today. And I hope and pray that it helps you write your best life story. Relationships are the most important part of life. At home with family, in the workplace, and with neighbors in our community. Every day, we have hundreds of exchanges. We exchange by phone, by text, by email, by Zoom, on social media, and until recently, we actually exchanged in person. Some of those exchanges can be exhausting. Let's face it, some people are selfish. Every time you interact with them, it's like they're making a withdrawal, taking as much as they can get. Those exchanges, they can sometimes drain us. Those who live the best lives, they choose to make a deposit in every exchange they have. The best, they choose to make deposits of love, of encouragement, inspiration. They leave others better, whether those others deserve it or not. You leave encounters with these people, and you're richer for the exchange. Today, I had the blessing of introducing all of you to the source, to my source. My pops, the source, he made some choices 50 years ago. He made the choice to accept God's plan for his son, my brother Lawrence. He made the choice to forgive my mom for abandoning him and us. He made the choice to invest transcendent life lessons in his three boys' lives. Those lessons were simple but profound: to forgive others, to serve others before self, to sacrifice for others. Finally, he taught us to pursue our best in everything we do. He chose the road that the best choose, and he changed the trajectory of my life and every other life that I've crossed paths with when He chose to be the source. I can't imagine how my life would have turned out if He'd have made a different choice. The truth is, we all have some choices to make. We can make the choice to forgive others. We can make the choice to serve others. We can make the choice to sacrifice for others. And we can make the choice to pursue being our best. We can also make the choice to be the source in the lives of others. If we do, we'll help change the trajectory of our children's lives, our parents' lives, our co-workers' lives, our customers' lives, and our neighbors' lives. If we make the choice starting today to be the source, we can begin to heal our families, our communities, our nation. We can heal the world. I've made that choice to be the source. I hope and I pray that you join me on this journey. Our best is waiting. I'll meet you there.